All right, so today's topic is the purpose of manhood. The purpose of manhood. All right, you believe with me that in today's world, a lot of things has gone wrong when it has to do with manhood. When you see a man, by my 16, I should finish secondary school. And by this, I should enter university. By 30, I should marry. These are the societal expectation for a man being. So do you think that the society has influenced the purpose of man?
Even before a woman puts to bed, they already know that he's going to give birth to a boy, a boy child. So the expectations are definitely high. From the moment the woman is in the labor room and they know, okay, finally, waiting him born, they'll say, na boy you. The fathers at that moment already with the society there knows, there's someone to keep up that lineage, definitely. So the expectation starts from there. So even the boy child, as soon as he comes out from that second, there are expectations, and he has to align with those expectations. Definitely. So it's something that is an unconscious part. It's there. He came into the world with that expectation, so he definitely needs to. Whether he doesn't really have a choice, where you're not supposed to, no matter how stressed out, you're not supposed to show tiredness. Just keep up that strength face wherever you're walking. No matter how drained, no matter how tired you are, you're not even supposed to cry. If you weep, they'll start saying you're a woman. You're good.
He arrives in a family of already existing sisters,
Yeah.
and he is the baby boy. What they begin to do to him is, a boy child, don't cry.
Kai, yes, sir.
Go back and make sure that you beat him or beat her.
Yeah.
We begin to indoctrinate this boy with violence and aggression as the only medium of interpersonal relationship. That age when man was only known by virtue of his aggression, by virtue of his strength and loud voice, ability to hunt and catch, has passed.
Yes.
Technology has dropped man low. Man himself has failed in the function. Why do we have gender-based violence? Why do we have intimate partner violence? Why do we have domestic violence? If you take stock of the number of domestic violence that we have in a society, the large part of the perpetrators are men. Very few are women. The society must consciously teach the boy child that you as the foundation of the family. You are not more better than the other parts of the building, because you cannot stay alone. Satan is who is teaching us. When we say our forefathers, ignorant is worse than disease. The male and female were made to be partners. So I do not see why the man should say, I'm the head. And nobody's arguing the head. But the head cannot move without the neck. So gender-based issues in our society is mostly ascribed to the influence society imputed in that little boy who grew up now to be the man, who were never inculcated with the values of how to live with each other freely
and so
peacefully
side by side,
and coexisting with emotions. Can I behave like him if I'm in his situation? That's a question that man has failed to ask. Man only asks, why did he insult me?
As the man that I am.
Yes.
Can't you see that I'm the man here?
As a counselor, I sit back as a counselor in my practice to hear stories, and you just know that this man is empty.
Yeah.
You are in a extramarital affairs. Your wife has more than enough evidence against you. Instead of that man to come discussing, that man comes home lashing out, beating the wife. Because the society says that we have liberties to go around having many women.
As the man.
Why
a human isn't supposed to?
Why, you get it? There are a lot that the man must be taught. That's the man we're talking about today.
What are the things that men should look out for and become and make them the man that God created them to be? Hello, welcome to Question No Podcast, a session of podcasts that will question everything about the church, African community, and families. I am your host, Ubong Johnny. And in this very episode today, we have honorable and good-looking great men that will join us in today's conversation. All right, from my right, I would like you, sir, please, may we meet you?
I'm known Sweseno.
Okay. All right. Welcome, sir. Welcome.
Thank you.
All right, sir. May we meet you? May we know you?
My name is Anieti Abasi Esquire. I'm a lawyer, and I am a social advocate. It's a pleasure to be here on your program today.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir. Even before now, I've been actually literally writing what the bar has been telling me a lot. All right. So today's topic is the purpose of manhood. The purpose of manhood. All right. You believe with me that in today's world, a lot of things has gone wrong when it has to do with manhood, with masculinity, when men has lost their very purpose, which a man is called to be a man. So on this note is why we are gathered here today to talk about the purpose of manhood. All right, let me come very first to Mr. Noso. So, in a nutshell, what is the purpose of man?
Okay. You cannot talk about the purpose of man in relation to manhood as a concept without we even understanding what we define as manhood.
Okay.
And when we are talking about manhood, we see that it's a very broad topic. You know, it's subjective to cultural background, religious background, social background, and a whole lot of things. I know that these are things that are if I say diversified, because the way I might describe it might not be the way you describe it as per culture. We're talking about each different cultures has their own definitions. Yeah. But generally, you know, just as you said, it has to do with masculinity, the man, the male gender. There's something that defines you as a man. You have the physical features. You have the emotionalism, that emotional aspect of it. So you have what the society have already given of a societal perception of the man that has already been there. So these are things that defines the man. Then this will now tell us what is the purpose of the man. In a particular culture, this is the way a man is supposed to behave. Yeah. In the society, this is the way a man is supposed to behave. So if you're not behaving as the man, there's a way people will be looking at you. So that also defines your purpose. So it's a broad thing. Yeah. We might tend to like dissect it as we go along.
Wow. All right. Barrister, sir, let me humbly come to you. Sir, do you think, okay, let me bring the same question. The purpose of manhood, do you think it has evolved over time?
Well, thank you. Let me catch you at the last part of your question, if it has evolved over time. The purpose is static. What man ought to have done 5 million years ago is what the man of today should also do. God's intentions was to allow leadership in this other sphere to man, whereas in the heavenly space, he is in charge. So if you read through, you see that man is what is called vice agent, like a deputy to God. Man was given leadership to this war. So that leadership role has not changed. That's why I say it is static. And that is how it will be until, by my Christian faith, God comes. So in that leadership role, God had a definitive pattern for man to follow. And so, as you ask, what is the function of manhood? The function of manhood, specifically stating, was for leadership, to give glory unto God.
Okay.
At the beginning, the Bible says God created man. Said he made them in his image. Said he created them in his image. If you read Genesis down, it now says he made them male and female. two things I want us to capture. First is he created man in his own image. That first creation was a spirit man.
Yeah.
His spirit man was created.
Yeah.
So before gender was talked about, which is male and female.
Okay.
So in male is the leadership, the priority of the leadership of God's glory, that man must at all times in all he does manifest that. And so if I must allow you to proceed, let me submit that the purpose of man is that God called man to humble leadership, and the female to glad affirmation of that leadership. So the purpose of man was to lead with humility, while woman was supposed to go with joy in fellowshipping or following that leadership. That was why she was given as a helpmeet. Yes, sir.
So this when you mentioned that, it reminds me of feminists.
Yeah, I don't know.
Let's not go there first.
No, we will not. The aspect of the feminists you're talking to, maybe the skewed feminism. Feminism is about declaring what is the essence of the woman. What is the woman supposed to do in God's intentional hierarchy of the existence of humanity?
Yeah.
So for those who are selfish, just as we also have the toxic masculinity, we have the divergences. Man, as we go in this discussion, I'll tell you where man has not done well and why we are where we are, if you will ask me.
Okay. It's very interesting. Very interesting. So I'll have to come to that feminist something again. Seriously. All right, sir. Sir Nonso, do you think, because I heard you mention culture, societal pressure and stuff, do you think this has in any way influenced the purpose of man? Because when you see a man, by my 16, I should finish secondary school. I should enter university. By 30, I should marry. These are the societal expectation for a man being. So do you think that the society has influenced the purpose of man?
I want to understand that influence so that I won't get it off point. Yes, just as you said, from the point a woman goes into the labor room. Okay, let's say technology, there's now technology now. And even before a woman puts to bed, they already know that he's going to give birth to a boy child. So the expectations are definitely high. From the moment the woman is in the labor room and they know, okay, finally, waiting him born, they'll say, na boy you. The fathers at that moment already with the society there knows, there's someone to keep up that lineage, definitely. So the expectation starts from there. So even the boy child, as soon as he comes out from that second, their expectations, and he has to align with those expectations. Definitely. So it's something that is an unconscious part. It's there. He came into the world with that expectation. So he definitely needs to, whether he doesn't really have a choice. In let's say, perhaps this was a family that had girls already. He had sisters, and let's say 2-3 sisters, and he's now the man. Yes, he's like the youngest sibling in that family. But there's things that will be expected of him as the first son.
Yeah. Okay.
The father will be looking up to him. The mom will be looking up to him. The sisters, which are even elders, will be also looking up to him. Now, even within the household, when he starts growing, he goes to the school. The expectations too. While in school, there are things he should do and there are things he shouldn't do. There are situations that if it happens, he's not supposed to do some certain things. That manliness must always be there. So there are times that he needs to shed off some things just to keep up with the expectations of the society. In the church too. That's just as my barrister has said, that leadership role has already been there. It's placed on us. So definitely, he also needs to keep on with that leadership status as a man in this church. So wherever he is, in his circle, wherever he goes, that expectations is there. So in a way, that influence is there, both positive and negative.
Wow. That influence is there, both positive and negative. All right. So from what Mr. Nato said, sir, let me bring this question to you. Sir, following the diverse cultural expectation expected from a man, let's say in the Yoruba, in the Hausa,
the Igbos, the Ibibio.
Yeah. Now, is there any? Yes, you mentioned it that it is a static purpose of man.
Yeah.
Can we know some of those static purpose of man?
Okay.
You mentioned leadership.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can we delve deeper?
Okay.
Into it.
It's anthropologists are those who give the background, not so as highlighted.
Yeah, that's what he studied.
I barely. So I can see why he was so basic about it.
Yeah.
Because they talk about the signs of human beings, getting tracing them through their ancestors, through time and space, about their physical characteristics, the society and culture, and their relationship. That's all that they do. So I want to differ because the basics from where they come and draw their knowledge from is more from the natural principles of natural law.
Okay.
And the natural law did not come from any other place apart from the divine and intrinsic knowledge that God gave to us, even at the point of birth. The boy child you're talking about came to this life with cognitive abilities. At arrival, he was completely neuter. He's empty. The only thing he knows is if you pinch him, he will feel the pain. So those are the cognitive abilities that the boy or the girl child arrives. So the society, because before the boy's arrival, the society was already distorted from God's initial expectation in the leadership. So the boy is coming to meet prescribed rules, whether he has capacity, whether he is trained to carry them at the very tender age. Listen to what you said. He arrives in a family of already existing sisters, and he is the baby boy. What they begin to do to him is, a boy child, don't cry.
Yes, sir.
Go back and make sure that you beat him or beat her. We begin to indoctrinate this boy with violence and aggression as the only medium of interpersonal relationship. So these rigid, hegemonic gender rules is what the boy is most often given. And the question has been, who indoctrinates him? We find the parents, go to his school, the teachers are there, but basically his peer group. Because it's a peer group that will threaten to emasculate him. The expectation you're talking about. I came to share this knowledge today that there's nothing called emasculation. Nobody can emasculate anybody. God created you either as a woman or as a man. It's a natural gift with a defined purpose that if you have proper orientation, that purpose can never be taken away. The things we see in the physical world is acquired. But the things that we are born with or that we are allowed to come are bestowed. They are bestowed. And those are our senses. So the society has negatively influenced the man. And the man has slided off from the role that God gave to him. I said that God called man to humble leadership. You said that society called man to leadership.
Okay.
So society called him to leadership and did not tell him that in this your leadership, it must be a positive intention that has a purpose to help other people to grow with you.
Yes.
Not just you alone.
Not just you, yeah.
But so we see in our climb, like you were talking about the cultural, relative cultures, the Hausa, the Yorubas, it cuts across. Every culture is looking at the man who must show that he has power. He must show that he has strength.
Yes.
So we now talk about muscles rather than intellect. If you bring the discussion down now, let me inject what has occurred to our present age. That age when man was only known by virtue of his aggression, by virtue of his strength and loud voice, ability to hunt and catch has passed.
Yes.
Technology has dropped man low.
Yeah.
Intellect is taking our war.
So that's why he said.
Yes.
I remember when he was talking about evolution too.
Yes.
Yeah.
So man now is facing a challenge that before now they are subjected the females and felt that the war was only to be ruled by them. The female
With
now,
violence.
yes, by violence. The female now is giving man a run for their strength through intellectual capabilities. Today, you don't more need man to lift heavy weight things in industries. We now have IT, ICT.
Yeah.
You can do by tech. Buttons are pressed. Female can press button and man can press. Today, we also have the man who has realized that it's not just the duty of the man as society prescribed that it's only the female that can cook. We now have male chefs. International male
nurses.
chefs. You get it?
Yeah.
Next, when we bring up, we say, that's for a female. Today, we now have female pilots and we now have male nurses. Are you getting it?
Yes.
So there is a mix that is tuning us back to what was God's original plan, that man should show humble leadership while the female should give glad affirmation.
Okay.
So when you're able to lead with this intention of God, God is forgiving, God is all encompassing, God is honest, God is intentional, and those characteristics of God is what is the function of man. Recall I said he is the vice reagent of God. He's a deputy God in this climb. So the Satan man came to tell the society that, man, you must be handy, you must be stoic, and we talk about emotional inhibitions. They didn't teach us to tell our emotions.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we lock up, we bottle up.
Yeah.
And so in marriages, in relations, in civil societies, instead of expressing yourself, we rather box others. So man is not emotionally intelligent. And man must come up to the stage of realizing that we rather should judge rather than war. Let us talk. Let us discuss.
Yeah.
So that's where man left the function and thought that it was muscle that should lead. So the society did not do the man well. I think that's why you're calling us to sit back here.
Yeah.
By the time we're done, I'm not sure 30 minutes is enough to have this discussion.
Okay.
Okay. Sorry. Before you come in, I just want to chip in something to what the barrister said. You know, when I was saying, I said, when he asked me about influence, I said both positive and negative.
Okay.
And just as he has also said, we are here to change that narrative. You know, when we're talking about evolution, God, right from creation, he has already made that perfect plan. But we as humans too, we tend to like digress. Sometimes we tend to chip in our own because we are also intelligent beings too. And just as I said earlier, cultural backgrounds and everything, because there are situations that that makes man to change and start giving narratives to a lot of things. And, you know, we've come to understand that as a man, just as the barrister said, you don't need muscles to make things work. There are things that all you need is just dialoguing. But, you know, our forefathers, all you needed was warriors. My dad was saying something this week and he was like, we are just having a discussion. And he said that most of these intertribal wars and community wars that were occurring before wars, you see a man goes to another village and he sees a beautiful lady there. Another man's wife in his husband's compound.
Wants to conquer.
And he feels, this one is beautiful. And he feels he has the strength. He picks the lady and goes back to his own place.
Because
now, yes, he has the muscles. Now, if the husband of the lady also is the kind of person that cannot fight him, he dies down. But if he's the one that also has the same mentality like him and also is a warrior, that one too will go to get the wife back. And as he's not going alone. He goes back, he burns the man's house, he takes his wife back. This one so they retaliate. Before you know, you have intercommunal clashes. It becomes something else. Why? Just nothing. Now, and this most of the times, these wars too, it ends up, each village starts fighting. Something that at the end of the year, all you just need to see it's dialogue. Okay, what's the issue? What's the issue? How do we settle it? And everything dies there. But this one, it will not. Instead, what you see, it will escalate to full war. This one fights and this one fight. So that mentality has been there. But thank God we've started becoming enlightened to know that these are some negative aspects that the society has influenced the man in quote with, where you're not supposed to, no matter how stressed out, you're not supposed to show tiredness. Just keep up that strength face wherever you're walking. No matter how drained, no matter how tired you are, you're not even supposed to cry. If you weep, they'll start saying you're a woman. You're good. So it becomes, you bottle up all those feelings. And with time, the body has the way it works. You keep up piling those things inside yourself. And the date we shoot out, how long do men live?
High blood pressure, mental health issues.
The men
have been realized to have a correlationship from these issues that we're talking about. You see, man is an expressional being. Man is an expression. When I say man and woman, in this instance, we're created to speak up, to relate. We're relational beings, expressional beings. So when you are taught not to talk, not to discuss, you cannot relate. And when you cannot relate, there's an implosion of emotions that you are bottling down. Over time, it will have effect on your health. Take a look at families that have the kind of father that when he returns home, even the wife will run to the backyard. They most often have heart attack. Those fathers most often have heart attack because they don't have friends. They are not friendly. Affability, friendliness, it is another function of manhood. Because when you are visional, you will be able to apply the principles that all work without play makes Jack a dull boy. All play without work makes you a useless person. When you're able to mix these basic principles that were given to help us to relate with others, and then man will realize that the natural principle that do unto others what you wish to be done to you, he will put that into his relationship, whether filial relationship, whether at workplace, whether as a leader, man will learn to do that. And when you learn to do that, what is lacking in the present world is empathy. Man sacrifice empathy for self-good. Selfishness and greed is what has dropped us where we are. So this discussion is a very large spectrum of discussion. That man himself has failed in the function. Why do we have gender-based violence? Why do we have intimate partner violence? Why do we have domestic violence? If we take stock of the number of domestic violence that we have in a society, the large part of the perpetrators are men. Very few are women. Who is supposed to be the leader? The man, right?
Yes.
I had said, and may I say again, God did not create families. God created male and female from the spirit man.
Okay.
And allowed leadership to the man. It is the man now that should form a family. Are you getting it? So if this man, that little boy who came into the family of 3 sisters, was not taught to respect the other gender, because generally, cultural prescription for masculinity is that female are the weaker elements or vessels. Weaker in the sense that they know nothing. Because in time past, they were never allowed to go to school. They didn't have economic liberties. They could not own properties. As of today, we're still struggling in some of the climes about female inheritance, right to inheritance. They don't allow the female children to inherit, have a share in their father's inheritance because they are married out. So these issues keep on tracking us backward and do not allow us to grow. So the society must consciously teach the boy child that you as the foundation of the family. You are not more better than the other parts of the building because you cannot stay alone. Satan is who is teaching us. When we say our forefathers, ignorant is worse than disease. So our forebears knew but little. They live in that agrarian age, and all they could do was that abrasive power, that aggression, where they kill to take. That's the age that is referred to as the brute, age of brute. Brutal power, strength. But sir, has that helped the family? You will see here someone say, how did our mothers cope with our fathers? Your mother did not have liberties. That age, they didn't go to school. They were never taught the right.
Exposure was...
They were never exposed. So they were ignorant.
The only thing you know are the boundaries of your village.
The boundaries of your not village, your husband's farm. Because that's where you are supposed to work.
Okay.
That age never believed that the woman is built with the capabilities same as the man. There's nothing you can train a woman to do that I cannot do, or she cannot do. So it's high time we ascribe proven authorities to the fact that our sisters, our wives, our female friends, our female colleagues, your female colleagues will give you a run for your ideas in the class. About the ones that made first class and will struggle to just catch up.
It's true.
Yeah.
So can you now say that God, from where I trace that he created man in his own image, that was a spirit man, and he now made. Creation, the Hebrew says creation is making something out of nothing. That's creation. But when we talk about made, he's creating it out of something. So male, yes, he forms it out of something.
Yeah.
The male and female were made to be partners. So I do not see why the man should say, I'm the head. And nobody's arguing the head. But the head cannot move without the neck. So gender-based issues in our society is mostly ascribed to the influence of society imputed in that little boy who grew up now to be the man, who were never inculcated with the values of how to live with each other freely
and to
peacefully
side by side,
and coexisting with emotions. How to control his emotions. So the man needs to be taught emotional intelligence in a class term. How I should be able to manage my emotions and help to manage other person's emotion by giving the person excuses. Why is he behaving like this? Can I behave like him if I'm in his situation? That's the question that man has failed to ask. Man only asks, why did he insult me?
That's the man that I am.
Yes.
Can't you see that I'm the man here?
As a counselor, I sit back as a counselor in my practice to hear stories, and you just know that this man is empty.
Yeah.
You are in a extramarital affairs. Your wife has more than enough evidence against you. Instead of that man to come discussing, that man comes home lashing out, beating the wife. Because the society says that we have liberties to go around having many women.
As the man.
As the man.
Why a human isn't supposed to?
Why you get it? And the woman is not allowed to feel it. And I say, see, sex. Sex is everybody's business. So
that's it.
don't deny anybody. Don't deny. See, sex is, if you are hungry for sex and you are hungry for food, hunger for sex is insatiable until a partner is made. So man should be taught that the woman also has the same electrifying system that he has when he has sexual urges. That she too is a human being. That what is source for the goose is source for the gander. There are a lot that the man must be taught. That's the man we're talking about today. That man that was modeled by the society, that society that was not attuned to God's initial expectation for the man. They didn't teach the man that he should be teachable. And so, the man must, at all time, from when he is a boy to when he's dead, be ready to learn.
Yes.
Because we die the day we stop learning.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So they didn't teach the man. All they taught the man was you are a super person.
Flawless.
You are flawless.
Oh, wow.
So sir, that's the man that I know, and I don't like that kind of man.
That's we came to know.
Yes. I don't like that man.
I want to try to change that narrative now.
I don't like that man. That man that cannot apologize when he offends people. That man do not see himself that he is not Alpha and Omega. That man that takes vulnerability as weakness. There is a beauty in vulnerability. The beauty in vulnerability is realizing that you did not make yourself, that you did not create yourself, that he who created you, that's God in heaven, is waiting for you to ask and you'll be helped. That the woman in your life, the friend in your life is waiting to help you. You go open-heartedly to seek for help, which you have been instructed religiously. Say, seek and you will find. Knock and the door will be open. So when you are unable to ask, you can't go nowhere.
How then will the answer come?
You can't know. So the man must be teachable. In being teachable, you must see that vulnerability is not a weakness, but there is a key to opening knowledge and help or assistance that you cannot provide for yourself.
Yeah.
So we are not complete. Finally, the man must be taught that he's not complete, even as a leader. Man must be charismatically in his leadership, but not domineering.
Yeah.
When God in Genesis said, go be fruitful and multiply, conquer and subdue, he did not say go and subdue another man. No. It was about the other little creation of the world. You get it? So let man be taught that he was not to come and conquer like those days, brutal age when they go, I take my wife and you fight me and kill me and take the woman. So that's the man that we came to redefine today, sir.
Powerful. I know that we are learning so much. So today on the purpose of manhood, you may have your own input or what you think that we have not discussed or what you want to inject to what we've discussed. Why not join the comment section and type in what is your take on this same matter on the purpose of manhood. So our take home words, sir. Say, how should we navigate? What are the things men should look out for? What are the things men should start building and to help the society? Because as Barrister said, God started the family. The foundation of the family is from man. And if the man has missed it, then the family and the society at large will miss it. So what are the things we should look out for as men?
That's what we are doing. I don't want to say trying to do. We are not trying to do it. That's what we are out here to start doing. You see, there's one thing about identifying. If I know I don't know something, it allows me that room for improvement. But first, that me identifying it must be there. So if I identify that something has been going wrong over time, it gives me that avenue to start changing. Because this is God's pattern, this is God's laid out plan, how it should be. And I want to start outline myself to it. So there are things I need to start identifying as for myself. One, that open-mindedness should be there. As a man, I'm a human being. I have flaws.
Yeah.
I'm not perfect. I'm not 100% perfect. So there's room for improvements. Me being open-minded, I know, okay, this is where if I'm wrong, I want to learn. Just as the barrister has said, the men should know that they are teachable. That's one. They are teachable. They should also open themselves to get more ideas, because you cannot grow when you're short. It's just like the palm. Nothing comes in when you're putting it as a fist. Yes. But when it's open, you tend to get more because you're removing.
Yeah.
That's what you should know. So growth only comes in when we understand ourselves, we are open-minded, we know that we are humans. And as humans, we are not infallible. There's always room for improvement. So even as we are also giving our rooms for improvement, we should also try giving out too. You give out, you collect.
Wow, powerful. Let me come to the barrister. So when the Bible said that the man is the head of the house, it talked about the thinking faculty, the sight, the hearing, the speaking, the perceiving. These are the criteria that makes a man a man. So in your last word, what would you tell a man? Because these things we are speaking both to men in Australia, Pakistan, Scotland, not just Nigeria. What are the things that men should look out for and become and make them the man that God created them to be?
So the parent has what to start doing. Let me start from the foundation that the boy child should be taught confidence and not brutality. He should be taught to be humble and not arrogant. He can be prideful over the things he has achieved, but not arrogant about them. And he should be taught to realize that he's not at war with the females. The female children have been taught tenderness, compassion. The boy child was not taught compassion. So it's high time we taught the boy child compassion. We should also teach him tenderness, because you need, as a leader, that at times you need to kneel down to carry your followers. You get it? How do you do that? So charismatical leadership is what should be imputed in the boy child as he's growing up. And for those who are already grown, who was very fortunate to listen to us today, God give us three things: ability to learn new things, to unlearn the bad things we know, or to relearn the things we knew before and we forget. God gave us three capabilities: to learn new things, to unlearn the old bad things, unlearn the old bad things we knew, and to relearn the better things we knew but we forgot. So you listening to me today, if this is the first you've heard, I was born in the family of 6 siblings, 5 boys and 1 girl. So I'm not the one who should be talking about a soft guy here, because I have male siblings who are tough guys. So, but I find knowledge and wisdom that I can be more than just being the brutal guy. I have learned and I'm still learning. So you can learn and keep learning. At all times, look for better ways to communicate. Tell your emotions and don't be afraid, because he who cannot speak up cannot be heard. It's far more better to have communication with people. Every relationship thrives on communication. So if we can build a society where the man is at ease in communicating with his partner, whether in the family, whether to his children, whether at work, you talk about church, leadership role is always there. So we should have confidence that we can do it, and the female can do it when necessary. We allow them. And by this, we'll be able to break down the stereotypes, because in all that we have talked about, the stereotypes is what is nibbing all this lesson on the board, not allowing it to grow. It is no use the society ascribing out of their ignorance against what was God's intention. If I can cook and eat, it does mean that I can enjoy the food that is cooked by a female, and vice versa. So what is there? That creates a more better bonding union. So the man shouldn't be threatened that there are a class of women who are called feminists, that they are trying to become man. I have not seen where a woman is truly loved. The percentage of women who are truly loved and those one who are not submissive is very slight. When a woman is truly loved, submission naturally comes.
Definitely. And it's not being forced.
You cannot compel submission. And so lastly, we protect what we value. We protect what we value. So if you value your relationship, I cannot allow my phone at this height to land, thinking that I will carry again. So if you want to be valued, protect who is in your life, and they will protect you back. That's part of leadership.
Wow. What an amazing conversation. So the barrister and Mr. Noso talk about open-mindedness, being teachable. Now the barrister has said about the parents. We have a lot of things to do. We have to learn new things, unlearn the bad things, and relearn the old things that we forgot. And now also talked about communication. And finally, round off talking about
value giving and taking. When you give value, they will also give you. It is on the spiral of reciprocity. What you give is what you take. Nobody earns respect when it disrespect others. So kindness beget kindness.
Powerful.
Yes. So when you want to be a good neighbor, you have to really show to be a good neighbor by actions, not by words of mouth. If you want to be respected, you have to respect others. If you want to be that man that must be accorded value, you should give value to other people. You cannot compel it. People are very violent these days, and it doesn't praise God. The function of manhood was to live a life that gives glory to God.
Wow. All right. Thank you very much, guys, for joining us today. It has been an amazing session here talking about the purpose of manhood. And I I know that you've learned 1 or 2 today. All right. So please, thank you for joining us, and we'll meet next time on Quest to Know podcast. Bye for now.